Today I'm going to show you how to make the mesh pumpkin. This is made out of the 21-inch mesh by 10 yards, and then I use the green burlap for the ribbon, for the leaves, and for the stem of the pumpkin. You start out by taking the 21-inch mesh, you cut it in about 12-inch sections. You cut the whole roll of the 21-inch mesh by 10 yards into strips like these in about 10-inch sections. I've cut some up over here so we can get a little faster. Then you take the mesh, you roll it, go with the flow, let it go the way it's been rolled on the roll, roll it tightly. Get you a chenille stem, go around the bottom of it, and twist it tightly. Get you another piece, roll this one tightly, put it next to the one you put the chenille stem on. Take the chenille stem, the long end, put it around it and between the two pieces. Now this is very important that you pull it as tightly as you can. Also, I leave a little bit on the other end to hook on. I like to do these in segments of about 10, 8 or 10, and then I join them together. It's just easier to handle. But you just keep going with each segment, go around it, between it, and pull it tightly. I'm going to do this one slower so you can see what I'm doing. Lay it next to the one in line, put the chenille stem around it, and go between the two and pull it as tightly as you can. Now when you run out of chenille stem, you're going to add another one to it. You keep rolling your 21-inch mesh until you get all the rolls added together. Like I say, I do them in segments of about 10, 8 or 10. It's easier to control that way. Around and between, pull tightly. Around and between, and pull tightly. Very important that you pull it as tight as you possibly can. This way, each one of them is in a different segment so that when your pumpkin is rounded, it'll look natural like each section of the pumpkin. Okay, when you get all the ones at the bottom you want to put together, go up to the top. Sometimes you have to roll them a little bit tighter up at the top. Take your chenille stem, wrap it around the same way we started at the bottom. Put the next one in line, wrap it around, in between, and pull as hard as you can. Now you want to keep these segments straight. You don't want to mix it up. So make sure that they're straight and in line. Add another chenille stem or pipe cleaner. Around and between each one. Pull tightly. I can't stress that enough, that you need to pull it as tightly as possible. You can see it already starting to curve around. But you want each segment side by side. Make sure that they're touching side by side and don't overlap them. Okay, this is one of the segments I've made. I have several more made down here. What I do is I start my circle, and the ends of the chenille stems I wrap tightly together. I go to the bottom, and I wrap those together. If you don't wrap them tightly enough, you have too big of a circle in the middle. So you have to be very careful, as I say, as you work. Make sure you tighten them as tight as you can. Okay, when you get to this point, you can straighten your segments out a little bit, shape it up a little bit, and you're going to take the bottoms and you're going to push them in. Then you're going to take your top, you're going to do the same thing, you're going to push it in. And that makes the shape of your pumpkin. You can work with your little segments here and pull them out and about, get them straightened up. Now this is burlap mesh, but you can use the regular mesh also. I just like the burlap on the top of it for a different look. I cut a strip about 5 inches, and I cut it as long as I want the stem to be long. So that when you roll this, it will be up at the top, so you just make it as long as you want it. Okay, when you get it rolled together, you run a bead of glue all the way down the edge and wrap it around. And I do it on the table just to keep my fingers from getting burned. Then I run another bead around the bottom. And I take the top where the hole is in the middle and I kind of push it in there. For the leaves, I take the burlap. I just freehand cut them. I put glue on the ends of them. And I try to stick it as close to the stem as I possibly can. And you put as many leaves on it as you want to cover up your chenille stems. And you can add a little silk greenery to this if you prefer silk greenery. Or you can add a little raffia, berries, little fall leaves. It all looks good on it. Okay, when you get this done, like I say, you can add a little bit of anything to it. I like a little raffia on mine, and I just tie it in a loose bow. Take a chenille stem, wrap around it, put glue on the end, and stick it down by my stem. And that's it.